case you're wondering, my first automated machine was basically somewhere around Panama. Like I said, I had a bowling alley at Panama. And I had a bowling alley around, like I said, music, theaters, stuff like that. But not that anyone will ever look at these messages or even read these things or even know this stuff. But basically, Panama was, I had a bowling alley there. And like I said, I always treated my people very well. So wherever my people were, I basically built stuff like bowling alleys, the pool tables, stuff like that. Different things for people to entertain themselves on the day off. And also later on, I think golf, but that takes up a lot more space. Anyway, Panama, they used to have to walk the things back. And one day I was like, well, why don't we have someone maybe see if they can make a machine for that, and they actually, I think I paid someone like $12 or $7 or something like that to, might have been eight or something, silver dollars or something like that. I think it was silver dollars. Silver dollars went a long ways back then, but basically I paid them some money to basically come up with a machine for making for doing the bowling pins, and they didn't do it right then. In the meantime, I just paid people to basically, reset up the bowling pins and then go get the ball. But people would always, and some people would bribe the person setting up the pins to sit a little closer or something. But before we could actually get like real games and stuff like that, because people would be like, well, your pin was a little bit to the right. Anyway, or something like that. So anyway, so I started starting to make a machine that would actually like set up the pins and also screed them back and also get the ball and take it back up to where the person was. Great big huge machine, and I think they did eventually build one in Panama. I don't know. They built one somewhere, and and it seemed to do pretty well. And then they built another one, and I mean, it's a big machine though, and I love big machines though. But they built a couple of them. It's where basically I own every bowling alley out there, or at least they were my machines. Basically, that would take the bowling balls. It's kind of funny in what's it called, that movie, Constantine, where the guy's living in the back of a bowling alley and stuff. It's kind of funny because that was bowling was actually like one of the games that I had them come up with. They came up with, I asked them to think of a couple activities that they could be doing there, on their day off. So a couple of guys, I think they used to use shells actually. They used to take gun shells and cannon shells, and they would line them up. Like, well, that's not that safe. Because they would tip over and stuff when they throw, and they would roll a bowling ball roll a cannonball at the shells. And I was going to have a nice wood floor built for this thing. Anyway, they built this whole hall, for the bowling and stuff, where they could get the ball, and I think the ball would roll down to a lower level or something like that. And they did a couple different ways of doing the bowling alley. Eventually they did build it and stuff like that, and then and later on I think they built another one because they used to charge a little bit for some of the bowling or something like that. um, I mean, I was paying the guys anyway to get the balls and stuff, and then later on I invested in bowling alleys. It's probably the biggest horrible investment I ever invested in. I had them built around, you know, the planet. Everywhere all my bases were, there'd be a bowling alley and a pool hall, and also a place where they would serve spirits or alcohol, basically, which is basically pretty much, well, it's because you could actually drink the fuel that we used in the aircraft. Like a lot of people would just, you could actually take the fuel, like some of the alcohol, just take the fuel out and then, water it down a little bit and then drink it, because a lot of the engines ran on alcohol. So anyway, that was back in the old days. They don't do that anymore. But back in the old days, you could actually practically drink the fuel. But anyway, though, it was completely safe to drink. Um, and it was made with not a wood alcohol but a regular alcohol. So anyway, the wood alcohol. that came later on, and we were using that as fuel too, but you couldn't drink it. And that's when I started actually, because some people were drinking the fuel, so and they're basically drinking wood alcohol, so I had to have labels on that and also post it, and that's when we actually started providing alcohol as a drink, so people could actually still have their alcohol without actually drinking the fuel. So, and that's also why like there's all those like Al Capone had all those stills and stuff. Well, they're really actually government stills, my stills and stuff. But anyway, um, basically, I had a whole bunch of people making alcohol for me. I was paying them, so out of tax money. So that's why there's all these moonshiners, because they were, well, moonshining basically means to lie. Are you shining me, boy? Are you moonshining me? Which means dropping your pants and shining, and mooning someone. um, and lying to someone. Dropping your pants and lying to someone. Moonshining me, boy. As in dropping your pants and lying. Anyway, so that's what that meant. And back in the old days, they used to. Anyway, I used to have the. I had these bowling alleys built around, and they actually made a pretty good amount of money by charging a couple dollars, and of course for shoe rental and all that, which led to another one of my problems, which is basically athlete's foot. Oh, the shoes always smelled, and people were like, "The shoes smell." And it's like, oh, I know. Okay, we'll do something about it. So I was having like people work really hard to actually find a way to disinfect shoes. Tried steam, doesn't work. Tried all kinds of different things to get the smell out of the what's called shoes. And most people would actually just bring their own shoes. They wouldn't rent the shoes, which basically, well, I mean, so the shoes smelled forever, and eventually we did find a way to actually decontaminate the shoes so they didn't smell like athlete's foot anymore. Some of the people weren't wearing socks though, and that was the problem. So we would actually start renting socks and shoes to people. So that was a little business there that I had going on with the bowling alley, and making a little extra, making some of my investment back. Oh, oh, I'm never making it back. I'm never getting it back. I'm never getting it back. Because by the time I paid for the machine to do the balls, and by the time I built the facility, and then blah blah, basically I was broke. I wasn't broke, but I mean, it's a lot of money. So it started in Panama, and it was actually a free activity for all my employees. But then a lot of the people in Panama also wanted to go there, and for them, they'd be charged a couple pittance or a penny or something like that, or a little bit of money. And some of my people would actually give the local kids some money or whatever to go and mess around in the bowling alley when they're at work. But usually there'll always be someone there, but it's most busy on the day offs. And that's another thing. We had to start staggering the days off so people could get used to the bowling alley and other activities, in a row. So some people would work one day, would have a day off this day, and some people would work, and some, we would stagger the day off so everyone would be able to use the bowling alley so we could have more effective use of the area. So they built the first bowling alley in Panama, and then built them around there from that. So that was one of my other companies, is bowling alleys. Also, I believe tennis too, and some other sports. They had some other activities that they could do. Um, Anyway, though, but yeah, games and sports was always my thing, and other stuff. But bowling, and I had a couple inventions invented for me or built for me around Panama. I was like this and that, and stuff like that. And somewhere around in there, the pool came in. I wanted pools to be made, and so they made a couple. And eventually put a pool on top of a building just because I wanted to have one on top of a building. Thought it'd be cool. So, which was hugely expensive and cost the whole redesign of the building. They had to redesign everything for the pool. So I was like, well, I'm paying for it. So they did. And then people loved to live there, and it became like the number one place to live. So, and then they charged for other people to use the pool. So they made a little bit of the money back anyway, and actually made more money, I heard, or something like that, from other people using the pool.